Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top, it says Urzokk, Four Horsemen Studio logo, piece of tape, and some background smoke maybe. I don't know. On the front, nice big window showcasing majority of the figure and his accessories, Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk. And there is a volcano right there just throwing up. And here's small print, fine print, legalese print, all that kind of stuff. URLs to visit, UPCs to see, Four Horsemen, piece of tape. And adult collectible, made in China print, item number. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole if they don't belong there. And don't give it to babies. See the entire collection, visit mythiclegions.com. On this side, we've got some nice artwork going on. Four Horsemen, it says at the top. And the Legion of Aether. And that's Aether right there. And then on the side, Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss. And then we've got a nice product shot of Urzokk in action. URLs to visit. On the back, we've got some nice artwork of Urzokk right here, along with his wave mate Otho. And then we have the Order of Ethrion's flag and the faction of Necronominus, his flag. And then it says Urzokk, and here is some history on Urzokk, or his story. If you want to read all that, please pause it right here and read away. And moving right along, here's all the credits. If you want to read that, please feel free to pause it and read away. And there's some more volcano throw up. And to see the entire collection, please visit mythiclegions.com. And that, my friends, completes our look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And we'll start with the accessories. And here we have a big sword. And I don't know that I've seen this before. Of course, and you know, I've only been collecting the line a few years, so. But it's got nice sculpted textural detail on in it. And look at all these pits and scars in the blade. It's been used a lot, and a nice wash on it to just help all those details stand out. And the wash does carry down here to the wrap handle and then to the pommel here as well. And just a nasty looking weapon. I would not want to see that come in my way. And again, the same kind of finish and wash and pitting and scarring and stuff on the blade for his axe, and the leather wraps up here, and the metal and the wood, and the leather and the wood and the metal. And it's just really good looking. So wash throughout to help all these textural details stand out here, and on the wraps and on the wood. So very, again, very nasty looking. Cool, but very nasty looking. Now let's take a look at, well, let's look at the shield handle. And this shield handle is what I call the basic Mythic Legion's shield handle. It's got some nice sculpted textural details here on the part that the character holds. It's got a 90-degree angle to it. It's got a port in the end here where it plugs into the shield, and we'll get to that in just a second. Speaking of his shield, look at that. Wow. That same finish as the weapons, the pitted scarring and all that, and then it's got this nice, what I'm guessing is a tampo on the shield, and I'm guessing they did the wash on it before they put the tampo on, because I'm not really seeing evidence of a wash on the tampo there. And then here's the post where the handle connects, and you can see all that sculpted textural detail. They didn't spare any for the back as well. It's all in there. They just didn't wash it. So, and the way the handle works is you put the port to the post, and there you have it. This is a little different than I've seen before, so he may only hold it one or two ways, something like that, but because that's on a straight post, you can maneuver it around. So really cool looking piece there. Next up, we have his neck armor, and you do have to pull the neck off to put this in. There's a port behind the neck where this goes in, and then the neck goes back into it and sits on top of this piece so it doesn't fall out. And again, just, it's made out of that softer, more malleable plastic, and all that sculpted detail is still in there. And again, scars and pitting and a wash, and just a great looking piece. I haven't put him on him yet, so I don't know how it looks on him. So next up, we have his shoulder armor pieces, and they're nice and spiky, and again, that same kind of pitted and scarred detail that matches up with the rest of his accessories, and the wash as well. And how did he not poke himself in the face with that? I don't know. There's a post, goes to the ports on his back, and we'll get to that in a minute. And same on this one, it's just for the opposite side. Just, I love the way all it all matches up really well. And then let's get out the handy dandy tweezer so we can take a look at his extra heads, or alternate heads. And here's this kind of, you know, I'm just thinking about attacking you. And I just said that, but let's look at the, you know, it's got a wash on it as well. Paint on the eyes, and tons and tons of sculpted detail in there. And that wash just helps it all stand out. It's got that nice white war paint across his face. Dirty ears. And then like the head he's got on him is like, yeah, I really think I'm gonna attack you. And then the other alternate head is, to hell with it, I am attacking you. And again, everything I said about the other head holds true to this. Nice sculpted detail. This one has that open mouth, so he's charging. It's got a little bit of a glossy finish on the inside of the mouth to give it that moist, wet, realistic kind of look. It is hard to see it on the camera though. But same level of sculpted detail and wash and paint. The eyes, the war paint, the teeth. The dirty ears. Just really, really good looking. Now let's get to the figure itself. And again, all of that I just said about the other two heads holds true to this one, right on down to the dirty ears. And it just looks fantastic. I definitely would not want to see this guy cross the battlefield from me. Now, one issue I have with this figure is this strap piece does not want to sit properly, so I may have to do some heating and experimenting with it, or once I put the shoulder pads on, that may kind of fix it up. I don't know, but it's like this side, it just sits up too high and it doesn't want to lay down, and so there's that. But as far as the way it looks fantastic. Buckles painted. These, I don't know what they are, but they're painted. And these buckles, and there's a wash on it, and it goes all the way around. And in fact, it looks like there's a wash over the entire figure. And it looks really, really good. You can see his chainmail in there on his arms. He's got this skull on his belt buckle. And then he's got this loin piece, and it's got all these rivets on it that are painted. This has rivets on it that are painted, along with some hoops at the end. He's got these, I don't know, mini shield looking pieces, and all the rivets here, and they're all painted. This is a nice paint. This is a nice paint for the chainmail there. The furry piece here looks like it's got a wash on it as well. You can see the sculpted details of the chainmail there on the back of the knees, except for where the joint is. And then he's got like leather boots on, I guess, or at least boot tops. And then he's got these shin guards attached, and you can see the straps for those, and the buckles and the rivets. And then just full-on armored feet. And again, that wash is just throughout this guy, and it looks really fantastic. And you know, that it reminds me of the reason that I started collecting this line. I don't necessarily want to say I fell in love with it, but that I started collecting this line is just how beautiful the sculpts work and how they look together in the line. So, really sweet. Let's take a look at his articulation now. And this is, he doesn't come with an alternate neck. Sometimes they've been coming with an alternate neck that has just the neck with the ball joint at the top. This one has a ball and hinge on it. However, unless you pull it back like this, when it's, you know, it looks odd because it sets up too high. At least in my opinion, you know. So, but he can, let's see, he can look up that high, so if he was flying, that would be awesome. He can look down that low, so if you're on the ground in front of him, look out, because you're in trouble. And then, of course, he will do the full exorcist. And the neck is a separate piece. Like I said before, it does pull out, so you can insert that armor collared piece, and it ports in right here. And then those are the ports there for the shoulder armor. This one, he doesn't have anything to put in there. So at the shoulder, without the armor piece, it will rotate 360 degrees, and it will do all this stuff with the armor piece on there. It's just a bit harder. He can raise his arm up that high, at least mine does. Single hinge and swivel at the elbow, and with some difficulty, it will swivel around 360 degrees, and then it will give you that much bend, which might be a little bit better than 90. This form armor is a separate piece, so it rotates around as well 360 degrees. The wrist rotates 360 degrees. He's got in and out hinges on his well, this one's in and out wrist. This one is up and down, so that's nice, since they didn't give him no or any extra hands. So he's got all kinds of hula here at the waist. It's on a ball joint or half dumbbell, whatever you want to call it, and it will rotate 360 degrees at the hips. He's still a little stiff even though I warmed him up. He will give you the full splits, maybe a little plus. So also there's a cut where this hip piece goes into the leg, the armor, and it does rotate 360 degrees there. While I had that up, he will kick forward that far, and I don't think the overlays are hindering it any, but I could be mistaken. And back that far, so he gets more back than forward, it looks like. Then it's a single hinge and swivel at the knee, swivels around 360 degrees, and then gives you that much bend, close to 90, not quite though. Then the boot piece is a separate piece, so it does rotate. He has a boot cut, 360 degrees worth of it. And then at the ankle, it does rotate 360 degrees. It tilts down that far, it tilts up that far, and then it's got rocker as well. So just exactly what you would expect from Mythic Legions as far as range of motion and articulation cuts go. And I'll be back in just a minute with him all armored up. And here we are, my friends, all back, and he's all armored up. And I don't know, the shoulder armors cover up that strap piece a bit, so there is that. This neck armor piece seems like it might need to be heated up and redone a little bit. It's a little way oblong there, and so maybe that's just me. I don't like the aesthetics of it. I think it should be a little more rounded there, and it would sit on the shoulders a bit better. So maybe I can heat that up and make it malleable enough that I can get it to sit properly like I want to. Yes, as the way the inside of the shield is made, he can only hold it like where these gaps are, really, and that's fine because I like it like this. And then the sword, I'm assuming that you could put the sword in the loop here, but it just seems like it just kind of fall out, so I felt like the battle axe would be a better place for that to store. And of course, no storage for the extra head parts. And there you have it, my friends. I'll look at the figure, his accessories, and some storage. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk with the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Otho, the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Sir Valgard, and the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Scaphoid. Here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk with the Harbinger Studios Savage Crucible Human, Boss Fight Studios Epic Hacks Red Sonja, X-Ray Studios Combatants Fight for Glory Gold Hilder, and Mattel's Masters of the Universe Chronicles Inaugural Edition Scareglow. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legends Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final ramblings on the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legends Legacies of Mythoss Urzokk, I have to say the sculpt and the deco on this guy really reminds me of why I like this line in the first place. Even though I've only been, really collecting for 3 years, I guess now. Maybe a little over 3 years. There have been some recent releases that I just didn't feel were up to the normal standards of Four Horsemen Studio. And it had nothing to do with the sculpt or the paint. It was maybe some material choices. And by material, I'm talking about plastics. The soft goods are usually really, really good. No soft goods on this guy, of course. But one of the figures I recently looked at had some wire sticking out of his cloak. And again, that's not really something you see, or at least that I've seen, very often in this line. This guy suffers from none of that because, again, he has no soft goods. Now, I will say, like, the chest strap piece that he's wearing does piss me off a little bit. But with the shoulder armor on it, it's fine. The neck armor piece still needs some work. And while I'm glad to see them changing up some articulation in the line a little bit, and by that I'm talking about giving us, recently they've started the last couple of waves, I guess. They've started, or at least I've noticed. Now, this may not be a new thing for people who've collected this line for a long time, but for me, I've just noticed that they've started with, the last couple of waves or last couple of releases, that they've really started using the hinge and ball neck. A lot of times the figures will come with the standard, no articulation neck, just the ball at the top and the hinged piece. This guy did not. He only came with the hinge piece, and that's fine. When you put the hinge straight up, the heads do sit a little funny, so that's just something, not really a complaint, just something to be aware of, that that's what happens. But I am glad to see that they are at least willing to add articulation to stuff, because it's stayed, pretty much standard the whole time, and the body is pretty much, still that standard Mythic Legions. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but at this point, a $50 figure that only has single hinge and swivel at the elbow and knee seems a bit archaic, maybe. But I also understand why they make that choice. That's what they started off with. They decided to keep the look of the figures cleaner than having more range of motion on the figure. And I guess that's okay too, because, these figures do look fantastic. And this is why it's called rambling at the end, because I don't know where I'm going with this. But this figure, he looks fantastic. Again, he reminds me of why I really liked this line when I started collecting it, which was the Poxus wave. And I think the Poxus wave, not the whole wave, but I did get Apoxis and Urzokk and Thrace Wraithhaler. I think those were the 3 named characters that I picked up out of the Apoxis wave, and then I picked up a couple of knights out of the I think it was reinforcements too. So there's that, and that really helped me get in tune with this line and made me want to keep collecting it. And so I have, not necessarily everything. I'm to the point in my collecting that I don't feel like I have to buy every single figure from a line that I collect. I don't buy all Marvel Legends anymore. I don't get everything that Savage Crucible puts out. I don't get everything that Boss Fight Studio puts out. I don't get everything that Hasbro puts out. You know, I'm to the point, like, especially with G.I. Joe now and Marvel Legends, with those lines, I feel like if it's a character that I like, or a character I need, or I like the look of it, then I'll pick it up. Because if a piece of your collection doesn't make you happy, then why are you collecting it? So there is that. This one makes me happy in the fact that it looks fantastic, and I have a new enemy, and he's one of the top tier guys as well. And I'm glad to see us getting second versions of characters that were made a long time ago, so that newer collectors of the line like myself can get some of those long ago made named characters, and they really put the shine on them. And I think that's what Legacies of Mythoss is really going to be now. I don't think they're going to do, maybe, I mean, I don't know this for sure, this is just me rambling, then maybe the All-Stars are out and they're not going to necessarily re-release named figures anymore, but rather they're going to put them in the Legacies of Mythoss. And you know, it's been said that maybe we're going to get Etherion again, and who's the other one? I can't think of her name, the deer lady. Dang it, I can't think of her name. So it seems like we're getting those again, and I'm willing to say that they will probably be in the Legacies of Mythoss line, because it makes sense, especially if they're going to make some changes to them and give them better paint, or maybe some different accessories. Yeah, I don't know exactly, you know, but what they're doing with Legacies of Mythoss, and it be applied to those folks, that would be great. I would also like to see a couple of the bad guys not necessarily re-released, but get the Legacies treatment as well. And that's Aether and the vampire lady. I don't know why I can't remember these names. I don't know. Getting old, I guess. But this guy is really cool. I like him. He'll go well with the other orc that I have, the soldier orc. I can't remember his name either. Shadow Orc, I think was his name. And maybe I'll get the other named orc as well. I'm not, and I say that and not being able to remember his name. So I want to say Urzokk, but this is Urzokk. It's the other U guy, I think. His name starts with a U. But anyway, it's the Shadow Orc that doesn't have a lot of armor and stuff. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.